What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So for this horror news update, if you didn't know already, now you do. Jason Universe reveals new Jason Voorhees design by makeup effects legend Greg Nicotero. If I'm pronouncing that correctly. I might be completely off, and I apologize if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. But we got a new design, and this makes me wonder: is this really something new that we're getting? Because every single Friday the 13th film, Jason always looked different. He never looked the same, and I think that's fair to say pretty much for every horror icon, horror franchise, especially when you think back about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Leatherface never looked the same across the 3 or 4, even from the original to the following 3 sequels that we got. I think there were a total of 3 sequels before we eventually got the reboot remake in 2003. Michael Myers, we've seen the evolution of that mask, and it did not evolve well until my opinion we got either into the Rob Zombie films or into the more recent reboot trilogy, new timeline trilogy. Did his mask. I started to enjoy what the mask looked like outside of what the original 1978 1981 mask looked like in the original Halloween 1 and 2. But Halloween 4, 5, 6, H2O, Resurrection, I mean, those Michael Myers masks just looked absolutely atrocious. And even the coveralls that he wore, how he looked in general, especially in Halloween 4 and 5, it just did not look good at all. So here we are, and I think Freddy Krueger didn't change all that much, but he changed enough in each sequel. But again, overall, I think Freddy stayed the closest to what he looked like in the original over the course of all the films. And then ultimately, I think one of the last times we saw him, or the last time we saw him, was in Freddy versus Jason. But Jason Universe reveals a new look, so we're going to take a look at this new design of his. But before we do, just a quick reminder: this is an example of what all the other Jasons have looked like over the years. And yeah, as you can see, I mean, I just explained with like Michael Myers, his design, his look changed. I mean, yeah, the hockey mask overall does look similar, but not the same. I mean, even when you look at these two here are probably the closest here, and I think this would have been Halloween. Probably, I don't even want to guess. This one I want to guess is probably part 5. Again, I don't have all these memorized, but again, if you look at all of these here, you can see how the mask drastically changed, especially on this one here, where my cursor is to the lower left when we get to Jason 10. Right, I mean that's the most drastic, the biggest change that we saw. But you can see this changed over time. Even his look, how he looks as Jason himself, changed drastically over time. Now we get into this article of his new design. So let's jump into the details. And I mean, obviously you're already seeing it now, what he's gonna look like, but I think we have a bigger picture down below. So following our exclusive Jason Universe logo reveal last week, Horror Incorporated is continuing its Friday the 13th 45th anniversary celebration with a new take on Jason Voorhees revealed by Adweek. Makeup effects legend Greg Nicotero, again, hopefully I'm pronouncing that closely correct, aided in the redesign of the horror icon that will reside in the Jason Universe, a multi-platform expansion of the Friday the 13th franchise from its original owners. Quote, "We strive to maintain Jason's original essence while continuing to move toward the future with a defined look and feel that takes Jason into his next chapter. We're also working with both familiar and fresh franchise voices to strike that balance," said Horror Incorporated President Rob Barrisman. We have Greg, our new 13-hole mask, and work together on this full body look that embodies classic Jason. He's a strong, towering, and terrifying slasher with machete, his weapon of choice. It's incredibly exciting to bring Jason Voorhees back into the lives of fans in such a bold and fresh way, adds Friday the 13th LLC's Mark Toberoff. We're thrilled to be working alongside Horror Incorporated on this next chapter of the franchise and Jason's legacy, and we share their passion. Together, we're making sure that this return delivers everything longtime fans have been craving while opening the door for an entirely new generation. It seems we'll come back to that. We're going to come back to that. The launching pad for the Jason Universe will be Peacock's Crystal Lake, which I can see. I mean, in my opinion, I'm surprised we're talking about Jason's universe because I don't anticipate we're going to see really Jason at all in Crystal Lake. And if we do, I'm anticipating the only thing that we're going to see is him as a young child and the supposed drowning of Jason, which then drives his mother crazy, which, Mrs. Voorhees is the original killer in the first Friday the 13th film. So, interesting how that's going to be their launching off pad is a prequel where you're really not going to see much of Jason. The upcoming prequel series starring Linda Cardellini as Pamela Voorhees, but horror Incorporated Chief Marketing Officer Sherry Kahn promises their ambitions extend back to the big screen and beyond. We're listening to fans and actively developing a slate under the Jason Universe banner that spans new movies, gaming, immersive experiences, collectibles, and more. Our film franchise is one of the most enduring horror properties in cinematic history, and we're actively re-imaging what the next chapter and the slasher genre overall can become. Let's see here a little bit more about the partnership licensing agency. We're not going to go over that. I'm not going to read all that line by line. Let's see here. Our long-term vision for Jason Universe is to continue building upon the franchise's iconic history. Okay, we kind of assume that if you're going to be doing a Jason Universe, that would only make sense. You want to build off that. As we celebrate 45 years of his iconic history, we are excited to show him off in this new era. So this is the look. Let's see if we can zoom out a little bit, get full screen. I think it's, there we go. I'm not mad. I don't dislike it. I'm not mad at it, but I'm not loving it. He doesn't look, because there are some Friday the 13th films, especially in the remake, and I know a lot of people didn't like the remake that came out. I for one enjoyed it. I enjoyed the more modern take on it just as much as I absolutely loved the 2003 remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And you all know when it comes to remakes and reboots, I'm not overall a big fan. But I would say that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake from 2003 is by far one of my favorite remakes from a horror perspective. Now, this is the new look they're going to be going for, even in film. This doesn't have like that towering, overpowering, menacing Jason look. I mean, because even in some of the films, he was this towering individual. I mean, he towered over all of his victims. Even in the remake, he seemed like this bigger than, this big presence about him. This doesn't seem to have that. This just seems to have an average sized guy in some tattered clothing, wearing a hockey mask, and has a tethered up machete. Hands are a little scratched up, little bloody, not too much. But again, just looks like an average guy that just threw on some tethered clothes and a hockey mask. Doesn't have that overpowering, scary Jason look and feel like what we've seen in many of the films. Even, like I said, even in the remake film, even going as a little bit further back to the Jason versus Freddy film, I don't think it has that same scary look to him. And then again, this might just be the look that they have, because this doesn't look like more like concept art, I guess I will call it. Doesn't have like this is someone in real life, almost like this could be the look for like a video game maybe. But I would hope I think that's all we have. And then I think everyone has seen this. It's the new Jason Universe logo reveal. It's only like 10 or 13 seconds long. It's just really the mask that in the shadows is what they're showing. But this is really what we're here to talk about and look at. I think, again, if this is more for the video game, yeah, maybe we can get away with it. But if this is what it will look like from a live action film perspective, or if they eventually decide to do something beyond Crystal Lake, the prequel TV series, if they decide to then somehow bring in a TV series where Jason is an adult and he's kind of following the path of the films, whether or not this is a separate timeline, right, where he's an adult in this TV series, or it's falling in between some of the films, in between some of the sequels. I don't think this one, again, just doesn't have that presence that I would expect such an iconic horror character as Jason to have. This one just doesn't look that menacing to me. Not saying it's not menacing at all, just not what I would. That's not what I think when I think of Jason Friday the 13th, based on everything we've seen about the character thus far. So interesting. It's an interesting concept, interesting new look for the character. Again, I don't hate it, but I obviously don't love it. Maybe again, it will change a little bit once we see it in live action, if this is the look they go with for live action. So we'll have to wait and see whenever that might be, whenever we might eventually get another, zoom in a little bit closer on. So there we got a little bit of a closer look here. Whenever we eventually will get another live action look at Jason or another Friday the 13th film, I think it will be a while. I think between that and Nightmare on Elm Street is probably the two longest classic franchises where we haven't had a sequel for quite some time. And we know the reasoning for the Friday the 13th is strictly due to licensing, right? That's why it's been so long since we've had anything new out of this franchise. So outside of what we're going to get for Crystal Lake. So maybe that will open up some doors if that series is successful. But again, since it's going to be more focusing on Pamela Voorhees, we'll have to wait and see. So anyways, that's going to do it for this horror news update. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think about the new look for Jason Voorhees for Friday the 13th universe, the Jason universe. Again, I don't hate it. I don't love it, but maybe it will change a little bit in live action. We'll have to wait and see. And if you haven't done this already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next one. Later.